seat taken?
Nobody's in the seat, then I ain't taking, son.
So this is, Sabacc?
Sabacc.
Yo, what is up, guys? Welcome back to Sabacc the Block, the official first cut Star Wars show. We are here to break down the season finale of Andor Season 2, the series finale of Andor itself. This is incredible. We are here to do all that. I'm here with RB3 in the house. We are big Andor heads, and now it is all over. RB3, Ooh. I can't wait any longer, man. I gotta get your thoughts, man. What are your thoughts on the Andor Season 2 finale?
Yeah, I mean, Andor has always been one of my favorite shows, ever since first episode dropped. I loved it, loved the tone, loved the vibe. Seeing Andor get slammed against that wall and thrown into prison in one day when you're just chilling on the beach in Miami, I'm like, dang, that's relatable. You know what I'm saying? It's one of my favorite shows. And you see in the finale, it was lukewarm. It was a great finale. It was a good finale. I don't know if I necessarily say it was like great, like it didn't like blow my mind per se. But it was a good finale, ended with all the characters in a good place. And it's just more bittersweet because, now the show's over. There's no more, there's nothing to look forward to every Wednesday or, honestly, ever. I mean, to me, this is the best Star Wars show ever made. And I kind of hate to see it go, but at the same time, I'm glad they're ending it with pride and with dignity. So
that's true, man. That's true. Yeah, I swear. I think we'll get that conversation eventually, get to that conversation maybe later on today, because we got to talk about this release thing, man, because I don't think I'm on board with it, man. I think it was way too rushed, and I feel like a lot of that, the savoring of the moment was lost. So I don't know, we'll get to it eventually, but I do feel you, man. I feel like this is quite a pivotal, consequential moment in media history, in my opinion. That's how good Andor is. Like this is gonna be up there in regards to one of the best TV shows, one of the best genre TV shows, one of the best Star Wars shows ever made. And it's gonna be hard to reach these levels again in live action ever again. I still feel like they can reach it, and they've reached it many times in animation, in my opinion. But I feel like in live action, it's a whole different beast. And I feel like Andor really created a bar and set a bar that is just so high that it's going to be hard to replicate that. But we have to get to the finale, man. And I know you said you were kind of mixed on it. I'm curious to get to that. But let's start off very, in order, talking about episode 10. Then we'll get to 11 and 12. 10 was all about Clea and Luthen.
Yeah, flashback episode.
Yeah, and this was also Luthen basically coming to an end, RB3. How'd you feel about Luthen's demise, Luthen's deuces to the camera, peace out, along with Clea and Dedra kind of having this clash, and then the whole hospital spy thriller kind of aspect to it?
Yeah, I mean, I love the spy aspect to it. Yeah, like Clea having to break into the hospital to, basically kill him, off him. Was that episode? Okay, yeah, it was kind of back and forth between that and the flashbacks. Yeah, the flashbacks. Well, for one, I want to start with the flashbacks. I like the fact that the flashbacks were a lot brighter, a lot warmer, a lot like sunnier than the rest of the Andor show was, at least in the beginning, kind of portraying Clea's childlike sensibilities and her kind of wishful thinking about the whole situation. But then she gets a brutal wide awakening when she sees the mass shooting firing squad happening right there in her face. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, it was it was good seeing her journey. Definitely for a character we've followed pretty closely since season 1. And to be honest, like, the way her hairstyle was like pinset before she had like the kind of low thing, it was always kind of a high thing. And when it was the high cut, I thought she was way older. Like I thought she was like around Luthen's age. You know what I'm saying? But then like when like she let her hair down, then they talking about her being like Luthen's daughter. I'm like, oh shoot, okay, I guess like they like mother and daughter. I really thought there was like kind of like a sibling kind of relationship. You know, at least that was the way I was kind of reading their relationship. But yeah, no, it was cool. It was cool. It was cool seeing that. It was cool. Getting Luthen's backstory. I don't know what war, you could probably tell me, but what war was Luthen involved in that had him drinking and, you know, yelling like, make it stop.
I don't think they clarified that. They never really gave us a sign or a hint of it. I don't think they did. I mean, I might have missed it, but I don't think they did.
Was that the Attack of the Clones? Like when they was fighting in Attack of the Clones? Like,
I don't think so. I think they hinted that it would be a trooper fight, as in stormtroopers. I think the Empire was already around that time. I forgot what year they said it was. I think it might have been 5 BBY.
That flashback was 5 BBY?
Oh no, that flashback was 5 years after Revenge of the Sith, right?
Oh,
That's
okay.
what they said it was. I forget. It's not off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Either way, I don't. It wasn't Clone Wars because it would be clones and Jedi's and stuff like that.
Oh,
So,
okay. Okay.
um,
Okay.
but yeah, it was definitely like not even a war. At least that's what they kind of hinted with the radio. They were just like, "Yo, shoot the guy on the right, shoot the guy on the left." Like they kind of made it seem like it was just like shooting people,
All right.
and just a massacre. Um, but yeah, I have no idea what that was. Yeah.
Yeah. No, but that was crazy. I mean, it was just crazy seeing that. Crazy seeing Luthen, you know, pull the ultimate sacrifice, stab himself up real quick. Also, the dude giving him the information about the Death Star, he like shot him on sight. This is like that. It's that classic TV, like I always talk about in TV, like when a character's about to die, they just start wilding, like in like the last few scenes, you know. And that was definitely one. I'm like, dang, he really didn't have to kill the dude. Like he could have kept that information, but like, you know, I guess like, you know, you got to close all loose ends and whatnot. Dude was just sitting there dead, the dog licking on his face. I'm like, bro, that's crazy. Like, yeah, so it was good. That was crazy. The face off between him and Dedra was almost the equivalent of like Andor and Surreal in a way. Like the cat and mouse has been happening for all two of these seasons. That was a great face off. It was definitely Dedra kind of getting too ahead of herself. Like if she would have not confronted him, they probably would have been able to track Luthen and get to Yavin and do all these other things. But you know, she had to show her hand. Luthen showed his hand that he really don't give a f. You know, offed himself, and they tried to keep him alive, but you know, Kira knew the mission, so you know it was
Oh
on.
yeah.
Clea knew the mission, so
Yeah, that's what's crazy about this whole episode, man. If you really think about it, all this episode boils down to, well, not all, but like Dedra being too cocky, um, Luthen having his last say, but also Luthen couldn't you like I don't know, bro? Like, don't you have like a bomb on you, man? Couldn't you just like blow yourself up and blow her up? You know what I mean? Like all this, Clay had to do all this crap just to kill him, and I was like, damn. Like she's have to do like James Bond stuff just to literally kill this dude,
yeah,
because she like was determined to kill him, and obviously you had to kill him, regardless of anything, because he's gonna get tortured for like the rest of his life for information, like dead ass, horribly tortured probably. So she knew that like, oh crap, I can't let this guy live. They're gonna I mean, Head Dedra even hinted at it. They're gonna keep him alive and get information out of him.
right.
Um, but couldn't you just kill yourself a little better, Luthen? That's all I kept thinking. I was like, you could have like
yeah,
just done a better job.
yeah, you gotta like slit some risk. You gotta like,
Yeah.
you know,
Or just blow yourself up, bro, and take her out with you, bro. Either way, I think that would have been cool.
yeah.
I kind of expected it, but either way, why not? He tried his best. So
Mhm.
shout out Luthen, man. I can't lie, man. I really do feel like these last three episodes were mainly Clea and Luthen getting
Yeah,
getting some love.
yeah.
R.I.P. Luthen Rail, the railless one,
Mm,
the railest one.
mm,
Um, Luthen, the real one, Rail. Because I do feel like they gave him a lot of props these three episodes, and I've seen so much trash talking about this character, man, and I get sick of it. And I swear, people are so lost in this character. I get it, he's an a-hole and all that, but it's like people are like people see some wild takes on Luthen, man, and I'm glad that this episode was like, nah, this wouldn't exist without him, bro. Like we would not have Yavin, we wouldn't have the rebellion at all if it
Right.
wasn't for Luthen Rail. So stop speaking ill on his name, bro. Put some respect on it because Luthen was a real one for sure.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I felt this past 3 episodes. But
Right.
let's move on to episodes 11 and 12. I think I kind of agree with you that the finale wasn't as special. I mainly think it's because 11 and 12 were like one episode. Because 11 ends and they're like, and it just cuts and it starts again with 12. And I was like, oh,
Yeah.
it's kind of like not lame, but kind of lame, especially after we've gotten so much like expanding crazy arcs and crazy stories. And this one is just like they're coming, and then it cuts and episode 12 begins, and it's like, that's kind of a lame. I don't know. I felt like the episode 11 ending was kind of lame because it just connected to 12 instead of having a complete story being told, kind of like episode 8 of the last one.
Well, it's the classic. Again, these are like classic TV tropes. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying? The
yeah.
classic, like leave you on the hook right before the finale, so the finale gets you like super charged up, like going into it. And I definitely was charged up. Like when it cut to black and it was like over, I was like, right now, like you know what I'm saying, immediately. So
I feel that, but at the same time, we know Ruth Scott and Cassian get out of there.
yeah.
We know, and K too. Like we know they're 100% safe. So part of the tension is a little lost because I'm just like, we know these guys live, bro. Let's just get to it.
Well, so I didn't
Let's
know.
get to it.
Clea, is she in Rogue One?
Mm,
Okay.
yeah,
So she's not in Rogue One. So
yeah.
like, you know, you still figured she was gonna survive
No,
that situation?
that I don't know, but I'm saying like at least 3 of the people we know are there. That's all
Oh,
I'm saying.
yeah.
I don't know. I just kind of feel like I don't know. Cliffhanger on the second to last episode. I'm like, come on, y'all. Come on
Right.
now.
Yeah, I
So
mean, I think for me it was less about the cliffhanger. I think the fact that episode 11 did leave me so much like, I got to watch it right now, like, you know,
yeah.
left me so kind of turned up, and then the climax kind of happened at the beginning of the episode.
Mm,
You know, so I'm jumping all the way to 12 now, but like
yep.
climax
No, we can
happens
do that.
at the beginning, and then we really don't see any other action scene or anything. Like, you know, this is really just wrapping up all storylines. It's all wrapping up storylines, people talking to each other. The biggest conflict is whether or not Andor is going to get approved to, you know, fly to the next mission, like basically, you know? And it's like, that's cool. But I don't know, you know, I don't know. I wish we just would have had one more blowout, you know, Andor adventure, like, you know, just give us one more on top. And, you know, they said it was leading right into Rogue One, like, you know, I know it's cheesy, but dang, like, I would even be down to see us like get right into that first moment where he shoots the guy. When we first meet Andor, like in Rogue One, he meets the guy, links up, dude gives him some information, shoots him right then and there. Like, I would love to know the lead up right until that. Like how Rogue One led up right until episode 4. I wish this one would have like at least given me something more like, oh, okay, this is like the connected. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe you always got to review what they gave you, not what you want, like as a critic. So you know, maybe my expectations were too high. Low key though, like season 1 also kind of finale was a little bit like slower too, more wrapping things up. I'm not mad at it. I just, you know, yeah, I it's a good finale. It's not like a great mind blowing finale for sure.
Yeah, I'm with you. I feel like a lot of it was centered around Clea getting the information of the Death Star down to Yavin. And then once we're on Yavin, you're right. It is a lot of like wrapping story up. It is a lot of like Cassian can't be doing that. He can't be doing that. And it's like, bro, shut up. Like
All right.
he did it. Like get over it. I feel like it's like too long of that aspect of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then by the time we get to the end of it, it is kind of like, all right, we know where this is headed and where this is going. If anything, man, I'm 100% with you actually, but I don't think it had to be an action scene. Even if we had like, I don't know, Cassian do like a speech or like talk to Bale and have like, I know he already did in that episode, or have a conversation with Mon and talk about like, you know, what the purpose of everything is. Something bigger, something a little bit larger in scale, talking about like grand scale type stuff.
Or
Um,
even just like one more face off between him and Dedra or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. Like it could have been interesting if maybe Andor did get arrested again or something, and then he has to break out of the prison, and maybe him and Dedra got it. I don't know. Again, this is my creative brain thinking, but I'm not Tony Gilroy. I'm not these writers. This set of episodes was directed and was written by Tony something, another guy. Good, great scripts, everything on paper, all the show beautifully written. But it's like, man, give me just one more big beat to just like really live with the show, like just to really top it off. But they didn't give us.
I feel you. It should have been punchier. I agree. A tiny bit more punch could have been cool.
Right. Still great. Still good though. Still
good.
Show
really
is
good.
still the 9.5 out of 10 overall.
For sure. 100. Speaking of that, man, let's just get to the conversation about Andor as a whole. It is now over. How are you feeling about Andor as a series, a 2-season complete story?
Well, first of all, I want to thank all 5 people watching the stream. 5 people. Nobody in the chat, but if you're watching live, hit that like button. Please support the channel. Actually, our last one popped off, like with the, talking about the Gorman Massacre. So I was hoping more people would show up for this one, but maybe not. But hey, hit that like button. Maybe more people will show up after you hit that like. And overall, man, greatest show ever made, Star Wars history. I would honestly argue top 3 or 5 all-time Star Wars pieces of content overall. You know what I'm saying? And I haven't watched Clone Wars, and I watched the first like 2.5 seasons of Rebels, but I haven't seen Clone Wars, so I can't really add that as part of the conversation or Rebels fully. That being said, though, Andor is to me better than all of the prequel trilogy. I mean, of course, I think it's, in my opinion, I like it more than a lot of the sequel trilogy as well. There's some parts of The Last Jedi that are just still amazing overall. But I think as an overall piece of cinema and storytelling, Andor definitely clears, I think, the sequel trilogy. I think the only ones that kind of top Andor as a piece of Star Wars media are probably the original Star Wars, because it's the OG, kicked it all off, created the transcendent storytelling and the world building. And then Empire Strikes Back is just too good of a film, just as a standalone film, to not say that's thing. But I'll personally put it in top 3 Star Wars content of all time for me personally.
Yeah, it's interesting, man. I have a rule, and I kind of have been breaking this rule. I've had it with you for years when it comes to shows and movies. I just think it's a whole different beast, man. Mm-hmm. Like if you gave like Luke 3 seasons or some shit, like I bet you like original trilogy could be even better. And it could be even more monumental. It's just hard to compete with like kind of like long series or just shows in general. That's just my opinion, because it's just a lot of buildup, but also cinematically it's hard to compete with that, right? Because you can't get more cinematic than Empire. It's harder to get more theatrical cinematic than Empire Strikes Back, with Yoda, with the Vader reveal, with like everything going on in that film is just so epic that it's just hard to top on a cinematic level. So it's kind of hard to compare Andor to Empire in that way as well. It's just tough. It's tough to compare. So for me, I just feel like as a show, this show is just incredible. And as a genre show, I do feel like it's up there as one of the best genre shows. I know we've talked before about like best superhero show and stuff like that. And I think we both agree that Watchmen is pretty high up there. Oh, yeah. That's kind of where I'm aiming at, is like putting it in that level. And also like kind of like the, what are they, like the Game of Thrones type stuff, right. Like big scale fantasy shows, big scale like quality ass shows. I feel like that's where Andor is currently lying for me.
And it's so funny because I feel like with all Watchmen and Game of Thrones, like all great shows. I never watched Game of Thrones, so I don't know, but the finales have all been like kind of lukewarm, with people. So
True.
It's just kind of funny that like these
the weakest part is the finale. Yeah,
it's like everybody, let's like these geniuses write these amazing pilots and set these great stories, but just don't know how to end it. I almost kind of feel like, yo, just let a dummy like me or Michael Bay just like write the ending, so it could just be some bang bang explosions and just top it off right. But that's not how they do it. So
no, you're right, man. But you know what's funny? I agree. I was thinking about Watchmen the other day because I still think the finale is not the best, at least compared to the rest of the show.
Right.
But if you rewatch that right now, bro.
Yeah. Oh no, I had just rewatched it last year. Like
No way. The finale as well.
The whole thing. Yeah.
That shit hits, bro. That shit hits hard.
It does hit in later time, especially.
After Trump, that's what I'm saying. Like right now, they're like, wait a minute, what? Because at first when we saw it, we were like, that's a reach, All
right.
And now it's like, well, this is right now, bro.
right.
That shit hits hard. So shout out to Watchmen for being low key kind of ahead of its time. But yeah, to me, this show is just spectacular on every level. I feel like the best part of Andor, though, man, is like the relevancy to what it's speaking to when it comes to revolution, when it comes to standing up against authoritarianism, when it comes to the rise of fascism and what that looks like and what it looks like to fight it. Because so many shows can show you the rise of authoritarianism and of evil and of fascism and all this stuff, but very little shows or very little media wants to dive into like, what does that look like to fight it? How dirty you got to get? How many people do you have on your side? How do you build bridges? How do you burn bridges? Like all this kind of stuff that Andor gets into in season 1 and 2, with characters like Luthen, like Mon, and obviously like Cassian. I feel like that's what makes Andor so special, is the themes, is the relevancy of it all, and the fact that it can stand the test of time, both now and in the future, makes Andor one of the best shows. And also, man, I said this on Twitter, but I'll say it again, bro. The fact that we have like a Latino revolutionary too, makes it even better, in my opinion. So many times, I can honestly attest to this, just obviously because being Latino, I've talked about this for years, but the kinds of characters we get are still pretty not great, to be honest. And the fact that we have a lead who's not a stereotypical role that we've seen in the past, but a revolutionary hero, like that's the kind of stuff that I really want to be seeing in my media. And I'm glad that this show was able to take that on with a character like Cassian. So shout out Andor, man. It really is special.
Yeah, definitely shout out Andor. Diego Luna,
yeah, man. He killed it this season, man.
Yeah, no, he's great. He's always great.
I thought he was even better than last season, in my opinion. I thought he killed it.
Yeah, facts. I mean, I think season 1 was still such a great performance because it's kind of like him kind of really being against the whole situation in the beginning. And then have him giving that big speech to the prisoners and like breaking them free, like that still rocks me, to my core. Then but yeah, I mean, he was definitely still great in this season. Seeing that tease at the end with Bix, having a little baby Andor
season 3, 20 years from now.
Right. Like, what is that tease? I don't know.
20 years later.
Right, yeah, we're gonna see like it's like in the new Ray trilogy.
Yeah,
we're gonna be like, oh, here's Cassian Andor's great grandson or something.
It's like Luthen Andor. What?
Right, gonna be something crazy. Hey, no,
that'd be insane, and I would roll my eyes so hard. But I'd be like, yo, that low key, that's dope.
right. Now that's real. I mean, low key creating a new character in a way too. With that. Yeah. Potential and yeah, Bix was good. I will say regarding the representation part of it, yeah, I would love if there was like maybe like 2 or 3 more Black people in the whole series. You know what I'm saying? Like it just feels like there's like Andor, and then like not a lot of other like POCs like all the way across the board. And then, yes, and it's especially the only real Black character that's like reoccurring is like Forrest Whitaker, and he's like huffing Rido and all that kind of stuff. Still iconic. I mean, iconic performance. But still, I don't know what Wilmot is. I mean, I'm like, is Wilmot?
He's Arab.
Oh, okay. So kind of in the wavelength, but getting close.
But he's not a bigger character. Yeah,
he's not a bigger character, and I still, I rewatch season 1 every now and then, and. The light skinned homie who was kind of going at Deidre for in the ISB slot, like, I kind of thought that would have been a good storyline to keep
going. Yeah.
Like the light skinned homie who was
Oh, I
kind of
remember him.
like
Yeah.
kind of like ignoring the Andor stuff and ignoring the Ferric stuff, and then Deirdre kind of bossed up on him and kind of got him kicked out. Like, that would have been kind of a fun
Yeah.
storyline to
He's
see
out though.
him.
I think he got fired.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. I think that would have been fun to see him like in the
Yeah.
fight or something, or like trying to like take her down. But you know,
I will. I respect that, man, because I think you're 100% spot on. Obviously, shout out to my Latinos, and I will give credit to where it's due, which is Bix and Cassian, who are two Latino leads playing a couple. But at the same time, I 100% agree with what you're saying, bro. There's still like a little bit too much, like not enough like color in there.
all right,
And I feel like Disney is very purposeful in how they promote this kind of stuff versus how they're promoting other stuff, aka literally today dropping the Ironheart trailer
it's out of nowhere.
yeah, out of nowhere and have like no build up, no love to it.
All right.
Yes, and especially after the debacle of the Acolyte and the way they handled that poorly. In my, I've done like 20 speeches on that.
Right.
So you know my thoughts on it. I really do feel like they just gave up on it literally because of racist fans, and they were like, "Oh, we can't alienate them. Let's no more."
Yeah.
And they just got terrified of it because it clearly wasn't because of the views like they were saying it was, which is all BS, and we all know that now. So I 100% agree with you. I do feel like there is a little bit of a cop out there by not having a little bit more of a diverse cast. So I'm with you there. I'm with you for sure. I definitely agree.
Yeah, it's a cold world though, man. I mean, it was still.
Yeah.
I mean, it was still great, still touching on very, like you said, politically salient topics,
Yeah.
politically relevant topics, fascism, the dictatorship.
Yep.
Ben, oh my gosh, I was getting mixed up again. Ben Mendelsohn, right? That's the one who was Krennic.
Yep.
Yeah, right. Yeah, he was good. He was great in it. Great in it. Yeah, one plot hole not plot hole, I guess, but you know, like she kind of tells him multiple times, like Galen Erso, like Galen Erso, like, you know, remember Galen Erso, remember that ish. And then we get to Rogue One and we meet Cassian, like he kind of acts like kind of funny about like knowing about the like Death Star plans and like who Galen is, and you know whether or not, I mean, I guess he does know because the mission is to like kill Galen, so that's like how they originally go. But I kind of just assumed he did that off of like just, you know, no one knows. I guess he would know who he is, but like why would he be so down to kill Galen if he already kind of knew the plan a little bit, or maybe he didn't know the plan. I don't know. Maybe I got to rewatch that. I had just rewatched Rogue One the other day because I was kind of, you know, in anticipation for this finale. And I was like, yeah, like he was pretty straightforward about like, I don't believe this. I don't believe this Death Star stuff. I don't believe any plans are happening. I'm just doing my job, and my job is to kill this dude, and I don't care. But you know, I don't know. Maybe I gotta like really mind the details for that connection.
Yeah, me too. I gotta rewatch Rogue One. It's been a minute for me, so I can't speak on it, to be honest.
And we saw Rogue One together, man. You remember that? 2016?
Oh, dude, I was gonna post that last night, bro. I should have posted that picture, bro. I forgot.
Nah, man. Yeah.
I'm gonna post it tonight. I'll post it tonight.
Yeah.
Because I have that pic. Do you have it? Because I have it.
Nah, I don't have it. Nah.
Yeah, I'll post it tonight. I'll say I'll tag you in it, and I'll tweet it because we saw that in person, bro. Yeah,
we did.
Night.
It was a rainy night too, bro.
It was. I remember that.
Yeah, but nah,
Yeah.
that was dope. That was super fire.
That was fun, man. That was cool. Yeah, I definitely want to rewatch Rogue One. I definitely feel like it helps Rogue One in a way to make it a better story because you appreciate the characters a lot more.
I will. I'll say I actually liked Rogue One when we first saw it, and I still like Rogue One. Watching it right after watching episode 9 of Andor, particularly episode 9 of, you know, last week's episode, like the really, really good one. And then going to Andor is like, ooh, yeah, those just different writers. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, the dialogue's a little stiffer, stuff's a little drier. Now, but everything with Krennic and Galen Erso and like all of the more like dramatic, like adult stuff was like amazing. You know what I'm saying? But then you could kind of tell there was a little bit of Disney in there with K2SO being a little bit more comedic, and then you know, the shout out to the man's Donnie Yen, who was Karut. He kind of had these like awkward comedic beats. And I'm like, ooh, I don't know if these are like really landing in 2024, 2025, you know? But yeah. Still,
No,
Rogue One's
I
good.
feel you. Yeah, it's hard, man. Low key, I'm not gonna start shit, bro. But you know what I'm gonna say?
Who's that?
Watch a lot of Andor fans are Revenge of the Sith fans, and that doesn't make no sense to me, bro. I don't know how you can go from that and be like, yo, it's the same quality, same level.
No, you can't. No.
Yeah, bro, I can't lie, bro. I'm telling you, man. I feel like, all right, I'm eventually gonna start a campaign, and it's gonna be me, a lone army, and it's gonna be like rewatch the sequels and rewatch the prequels, and don't stop clowning on me and telling me this shit is like art and high level art when there's like fart jokes in Revenge of the Sith and like a burping droid. I'm like, this droid is burping, bro, in the first 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And the dialogue is the most plain, stiff, pretty bad dialogue. And it's the most like over-explanatory shit I've ever heard in my life, bro. Like, where do we go? Let's go here. Why should we go there? Let's go there because that's where the ship is. If the ship is there, shouldn't we go left? No, we should go right. And I'm like, oh my God, bro. This is crazy.
It's really bad.
It's crazy. It blows my mind. It blows my mind that people really gaslight me and be like, "No, bro, sequels are trash and garbage. This is high art." And I'm like, "What? What, bro?" No.
That's again.
No.
I told you too
No.
when we did our episode. I think last
Yeah,
week.
I couldn't make it, bro. I was actually working that. I was literally working when you texted me. So.
Yeah, nah, facts. I mean, I gotta get you and John in the room together to talk about this because he rewatched Revenge of the Sith and he loved it. So I would love to get y'all. And he doesn't like the sequels at all. So I'm like, yo, we gotta.
I told you, I still love it, and I like it for what it is, and I like the themes of it too, and I like the action of it. It's fun.
The action's good.
Yeah, it's very theatrical, operatic. It's I still like it. I just feel like when people tell me to my face or like to my Twitter face that this is like leagues above anything else Disney has ever made, and I'm like, what? That's a terrible
not
opinion,
Revenge
bro.
of the Sith. No, definitely not.
No, bro.
Now, on the flip side, though, I do genuinely think Andor is leagues above what Disney has made. You know, in terms of Andor, the TV show. You know what I'm saying?
In terms of TV, this is where I'll specify. Live action TV.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree with you.
Yeah.
Compared to The Mandalorian, compared to Ahsoka, compared to
yeah.
Acolyte, yes, way better than all those shows. 100%. I agree with that.
I mean, I think, and talk about the expository dialogue. Andor is so good at that, man. Like, there's that scene at the beginning. It could have easily been an exposition dump when homie is kind of telling Luthen, like, they're building the Death Star. And he could have just easily been like, they're building a Death Star, but they code the subtext under the dude being like, yo, get my family off the planet. Like, and he keeps going back to that, like, get me off. And then it kind of masks the fact that he's like slowly dripping this like information to you over the conflict of, this character trying to get off the planet, Luthen trying to, close all the loose threads because he knows his time is running out. It's just brilliant stuff. I mean, I feel like Andor, you could take some of these scenes in Andor, show it to a screenwriting class and be like, this is the way you should handle certain dialogue, So
100%.
It was great. It was great in that level.
100%, man. All right, let's get to the last two things real quick. Favorite performances, let's do that. Let's do favorite moment. And then let's do real quick release. How'd you feel about the release?
So I'm not mad at the release. I mean, I like the way it was released. But you know me, I love binging. I love binging as a model. And this is like a little bit closer to a binge model than it is to a like regular kind of model, regular release model. I mean, I think having the set of threes, like if at least 2 out of 3 of them are great, I leave with the impression of like, yes, like I had a great week of TV. I mean, that's kind of why I left with this one. Episode 10 was great. Episode 11 was great. Episode 12 was cool, but I could still leave and be like, oh, I had a great time with those ones. Versus if this was a slow drip week to week, I think I would be a little annoyed. And was the first Andor week to week?
Yep.
Yeah. And I think that's why that finale annoyed me a little bit more than it maybe should have. And then rewatching the first season of Andor, the finale did hit a lot better. Same thing with Watchmen. Rewatching Watchmen, the finale hits better. I think as fans, we're following this for 12 weeks or however many weeks. Yeah. Watchmen was like 8 weeks. So we just build up in our anticipation for a lot longer, and it just falls a little flatter. For me, I think doing it this way, I almost saw it as like, yo, we're getting a new movie every week. Like, because they're about 45 minutes each when you take out the credits and the recaps and all that. So 45 minutes, that's like 2 hours and 25 minutes each week. I'm not mad at that. That's a movie a week. I could watch that. I could digest that. But I couldn't that one week when we did the show on the Thursday instead of Wednesday. But
Yeah. That's the thing, man. I don't know. I kind of feel like it'd still be better weekly. That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
I just feel like you could savor the tiny details in every episode. There's really cool little details, man, when it comes to shot composition, when it comes to lines of dialogue would become more iconic if you gave it one episode, if you could just talk about it for an entire week. I feel like certain lines can hit harder because there's so many amazing lines that we kind of just like brush over because we get to the super iconic ones. But even some smaller, cool ones, I feel like are really cool. And we kind of just have to rush through it because we have to get to how did it end? How did the arc end? And it's like we can't talk about it. I don't know. That's just me. I feel like it could have been better weekly, in my opinion. Favorite performance, RB3. Give me your top three.
Top three overall favorite performances.
Yeah. Season two.
Just only season 2. I mean, well, I'm gonna try to dance around the ones I think you're probably gonna say. So
Okay.
You might also say this one too, but I think Genevieve O'Reilly as Mad Mothma was phenomenal. We didn't see a lot of her in the last arc, especially not in the last. We saw more of her in the last episode, but not in the first 2. But she was great leading up to that. The fact that episode 3 ended with her dancing in sorrow, like, and I don't know if you saw Star Wars YouTube page, they posted like 1 hour of Mad Mothma dancing. It's just like a loop of that scene. I'm just like, I love this. And then her escape moment was still amazing. So yeah, all of that, great performance. Again, really shout out Forrest Whitaker. He was going for the Emmy this season for show. The Rito, he's talking about the Rito and putting Wilmont on. Again, I told you on that recap, I watched that scene 3 or 4 or 5 times. Like, just as I was watching, I had to run it back because I was just cracking up. And then rewatched it again, like just leading up into this. I was like, yo, let me just see how he was cooking. He was cooking without the camera really being on him. It was mostly on William, fixing some pipe or whatever, doing some thing. But Wilmot doing some other thing. But even just the audio you hear of Forrest Whitaker doing that monologue, chef's kiss. And then who else was really great, man? I mean, yeah. And then I'll also probably say shout out, again, Ben Mendelsohn, critic. He was great. I mean, he low-key choked Dedra out. What's up with Dedra getting choked? Like, she been getting choked by everybody. Like, gosh.
Bro, people were mad at that, bro. I saw some people mad. I saw some... See, this is my thing, bro. I think people still don't get Dedra's purpose. I've spent a whole... I don't know how long, year and a half, hearing like so much like freaking butt kissing when it comes to Dedra and Cyril. And I was like, you guys are supposed to hate these dudes, bro. They're trash.
Yeah.
And it's this ironic, like, girl boss, white lady, like, serving it to the man. Like, I'm better than all these dudes in this room. And it's like, yeah, all these dudes who are psychotic fascists who you love and you're kissing ass. And what do you think they're going to do when they're mad at you besides choke you out and slap you around? That's the kind of guys you're friends with, bro. Like, I was like, that's what you thinking, girl? Like, this whole like, oh, I'm great. I'm this awesome white lady. I'm girl boss. And I'm like, yeah, girl boss. And then as soon as they're mad at you, they're going to slap you in the face, bro. I was like, what you expect from these dudes, man? Right?
I mean,
that's like the point of that whole character.
I mean, dang. I mean, when you put it like that, it's like, yeah, when you're hanging around dudes who are just pro-genocide and pro-fascism,
pro-authoritarianism. Right. Yeah, bro. These guys are not... You think these guys, like... Come on now. I think that was like the point of that. I was like, yeah, it's what you think, girl.
She got choked. I was like,
Yeah.
bro, that was crazy. I'm like, yo, they keep choking, and she be choking herself because her dang turtleneck
Yeah,
is
her
so
collar is
tight.
too tight.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and like she always be pulling at her. I'm like, yo, she just feels choked up. Like she always just choked up, and people are just.
I'm sorry, bro. I got zero sympathy for Dedra, bro. I'm sorry. People are like, you're supposed to have sympathy for this character. I'm like, bro, rot in prison, girl. When I saw, what'd you think of her ending, bro? Being in prison, she didn't die. I was like, oh, I'm surprised she didn't die.
Yeah, that's probably honestly a worse ending for her. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
bro.
Like she been fighting her whole life to be putting dudes in prison, serving justice. And now she got served up on some justice. Honestly, and justly too. Like she low-key didn't even deserve to be locked up. Like they low-key locked up for no reason.
She made her bed, bro. Where are you making your bed? You can't just be making your bed everywhere, bro. In like that specific spot. Like, come on now.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I feel like everything she finished off with is exactly what she was laying the foundation for. Taking L's, surrounding yourself with awful people, kissing up to awful people. Second, they think you did something bad. What do you think is going to happen? Like, I don't know. That's what I felt about that, but I still think she did a great job with it. Shout out to the actress Denise Gao.
Yeah, Denise Gao. Yeah,
she was great.
Very British.
Very, yeah. She for me it would go Cassian, Diego. Honestly, I might put Genevieve even higher. I thought Genevieve killed it. I was like, oh my God, Mom Mothma. That last arc, that episode 9, I was like, holy shit. I don't know, because I saw it on my TV. Like I put it on my TV because I saw it on my laptop the first time, and she's in tears the entire time, and I didn't even catch that the first time. I was like, her eyes are watering that whole episode when she's giving the speech, when she's running, like that whole episode, she's literally on the verge of tears. And I was like, that's hard. That's hard to do physically on an actor. So I think she deserves an Emmy. Give her an Emmy. Stellan Skarsgård, obviously, for me, is always going to be, he's a top notch man. I mean, that's Baron Harkonnen.
It sure is.
Yeah. So he's obviously a beast, and he's been doing this for a while. So that's probably my 3. Would probably be Stellan, Cassian, Diego, and Genevieve as Mom Mothma. So
I don't know who else is really good. Oh man, my husband. With the young chick sipping on the Henny.
I think that was whose wife was that? That was someone's wife. I forget whose wife that is. I think it might have been the collector's wife. Yeah, the one they set up their daughter with.
Oh, right,
the gangster guy.
right.
Yeah,
because their daughter is with the rebellion now. So right? Am I right? Or no, is she with the rebellion? No. Oh, she with the bad
They didn't
side.
show that. I think she might be, but they didn't show that.
Okay, never mind. I don't know. But yeah, that was funny. Funny way in his little art too,
Yeah, I think everyone who's a supporting character is great. I just feel like they were all really, really good. So shout out to them. Last thing, favorite moment, and then we'll close out RB3.
Of season 2?
No, let's do overall, man.
Overall, I mean, favorite individual. Again, I want to say favorite, but I think the one that really stuck out to me was season 1, episode 7, the end. The K2SO unit harassing Andor, throwing him up against the wall, and then arresting him, and then the judge being like within 2 minutes being like just booking him, sentencing him. Like that all happened literally within like a 4-minute span. Like it happened so quick. You're like, wait, no. So that really had me as the most shocking moment I think I've ever seen in Star Wars history. Like that really shocked me for like how direct and how pointed they were going with that metaphor.
It wasn't even like subtle. It was straight up like, you look suspicious, man. You look like you're up to some shit. What are you doing? It's like, I'm walking, man. Walking where, bro? And it just kept like doing the lead-in conversation. Walking here. What are you going there for? Did you? And I was like, and then these guys are literally cops, bro.
no, straight up, straight. And then the officer was like, hey, make sure you hang out with this guy. And then he's like, oh, hang? And then like starts hanging for the neck. It's like, he's like, tell him you see wait. Tell him you meant wait. I'm like, yo, it's so devastating. Like, this is so crazy. Like, oh man. But
I
then,
forgot what his charge was too. They were like not following orders when told.
yeah, it was some
And he was
basically
like,
some made
"What?"
up. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I was like, bruh. That was sick. And then
yeah,
that moment got me. And then the other big moment that got me, dang. Well, the whole arc again. The whole arc was Andy Serkis. Them
yeah.
in the prison
Prison Break.
and Prison Break. Like all of that is, I say overall my favorite arc that we've seen throughout
Yeah,
the series. But
that's a good one. I still like Aldani quite a bit. That's the one where they steal the money. I
yeah,
love that. I love that episode and that finale. I think it's sick.
right,
And I love how it ends too. Like even what's his face, Skeen, that was his name.
yeah,
Where he's like, "Yo, man, let's take the money and go." And Cassian just kills him right away. That the whole ending, the whole arc, I thought that was really cool. I think that's got to be one of my favorites. And then for me, it would be the Gorman stuff was really cool. I still love episode 9, and I think that's a beautiful episode for sure.
right.
All right, RB3, any final thoughts on Andor?
Final thoughts. Lord Invictus hopped into the chat the very last second. Thank you to all 10 people watching. 10 people watching on these 6 likes. I'm looking at you. Come on now, get those likes. Lord Invictus said, "What do you think Luke and Leia would do if they knew the rebellion killed loose ends all the time?" I mean, hey, war is war. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just is what it is. It's called Star Wars. It ain't called Star Patty Cake. It's Star Wars. So,
I mean, how many people did Luke kill in New Hope, bro?
I mean, he killed. Wait, who did Luke kill?
The Death Star, bro.
Oh, true. Oh, yeah. I guess that is a big loose end,
bro. That's a whole. Bro, imagine like newscasters talking about the Death Star. They'd be like, "Holy shit!" Yeah. They were talking about the Gorman massacre. They were just talking about the Imperial martyrs. Remember that?
Yeah.
In episode 9, they were like the Imperials who died. It was like 5 dudes, bro.
Yeah.
They killed like 5,000 people, and it's like 5 Imperial troopers died, and that's what they're focusing on.
Right.
That's how and the Death Star, it's like 500,000.
Yeah. Well, it's a lot of people on the Death Star, but there also was a lot of people on Alderaan too. So it's
that's what I'm saying, bro. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like Luke was doing what he needed to do, bro. Right. He was a revolutionary right then and there. So
yeah.
Shout out to Luke Skywalker.
Yeah. Do you think Che Guevara cares if somebody had to slice up an Imperial officer back in his day? No, he doesn't care.
Nah, bro. We gotta. Yeah. We gotta muddy it up sometimes, bro.
Yeah. Nah, it's great areas, man. So.
Your final thoughts? Was that your final thoughts, man? I just want to make sure I get them.
Final thoughts is great. It's even better than Rogue One, but I still think people should watch Rogue One, even though it doesn't really. I still say Andor clears Rogue One in my opinion. But.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for me, I think that it speaks to the times so well, and it speaks to what we're living in right now, and I think that's why it's so important. Because again, I mentioned this before, but I feel like right now, this is what we need. This is the kind of stories that we need. Not just quality stories, not just good, well-acted stories, but stories that speak to what we're living in right now, because we need to be a little bit more aware of what's going on. So shout out Andor. Shout out everyone who tuned in to us talking about Andor. Where can everyone find you, RB3?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Director RB3. And Viva la Revolution!
There you go. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Squad Leader Ace, and you can subscribe here to First Cut if you haven't done so already. Make sure you guys keep track of us, because we still will be dropping more Star Wars videos in weeks to come. So either way, guys, for Sabacc the Block, we're going to be peacing out, so peace, deuces. We got this chat.